Hello, welcome to another video, and today's video is going to be all about the celestial eye goldfish. This particular variety of goldfish is quite unusual looking, as you may be able to see already. It's something that does divide people in some ways about whether this goldfish should be kept or I guess exist at all. But I wanted to highlight these types of fish that do exist and part of the goldfish culture history, and tell you a little bit about them, and you can sort of, I guess, make your own mind up about them. Some of this footage that you're going to be seeing has been shared by some people online. Some of it was collected by myself when I visited goldfish shows or other places. But I think it's worth putting together just so we can highlight this variety. So one of those more unusual ones. But yeah, let's have a little dive into the history to start with. So as far as I can tell from my research, about 30 celestials were first brought into Japan about 1903 from China and then bred successfully. These strains did, however, die out, and celestials that are being bred today descend from fish that were imported from China after World War II. They potentially come from the toad head, which I had some footage shared with you here, some lovely examples of some toad heads. And you can see that, can't you? You can see how you can imagine the toad head would potentially come first, and then the eyes gradually would develop or bred so they could turn upwards. Now, it's got no dorsal fin. Another name given to it is a shotogan, which I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that completely correctly, but it's one of those another name given to it. And there is actually a fable of how these fish came to be, and it says that the fish were kept in covered jars with little slots at the top, and eventually they turned their eyes upwards to look at the light. Now, there's another explanation as well, and this could be true or not, but it was developed as a tribute to ancient Chinese emperor, so that when he came back to look at his fish, he always found the fish looking up at him. So that could have happened, but how they developed potentially from that toad head. So I have been lucky enough to have some footage shared with me, and the breeder taught me through their breeding process, so I'm going to share that with you now. Massive thanks to those people that did share any footage for this video. So celestials start to turn their eyes up at around the 6 to 8 week stage, but it can take about 6 months for the eyes to actually fully turn up. So you can see these ones here don't have fully turned up eyes. Some of them have eyes more turned up than others, but you can see it takes a while. Some fish have deformities. Maybe one eye might turn up. The other things are bad backs, which could potentially be the kind of thing that you'd cull for. You can cull that out at an early stage. The eyes can't be done until later, though, unfortunately. So you can't see until they're a bit of a bigger fish that actually these eyes are going to turn upwards, and they're going to be that celestial variety type. So the last few videos we looked at were the celestial as it kind of developed, really. I was shared footage by the breeder of different months as they'd kind of grown up. So that first video that we saw was around 3 months, and then the second one you could see a bit of more development. That was 4 months, and this this next one here, we're looking at the fish are about 5 months old. You can see there is some dark coloration on the tails, and that could be that it's not potentially lost all of its pigment yet, but it will potentially turn out fully orange. You can get calico fish, and I did show those at the beginning, and that was something that we were going to have a look at later on as well. So this one is when the fish are 18 months, and they do get pretty big. I don't know if you've ever seen in person. They're quite robust, a bit like a large ranchu, but they've got you can see here in the hand really how big they are. I do apologise, the footage isn't the best quality of this stuff that's been shared by the breeder, just the way we had to share that, but I do get some higher quality footage in the future. But yeah, the breeding, so carry on with what the breeder said about it. So the way that they breed these fish is kind of the same for lots of different fancy goldfish, and these were the notes that were shared by the breeder. So spawning usually starts around early March, but they do build up and condition the fish before that. which starts about 4 to 6 weeks before that, and they gently kind of bring the temperature of the tank up, I guess if they're kept in an aquarium, to around 68 or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Feeding high protein foods will help with this as well, and live foods. So I just wanted to say the footage here shown isn't actually fish that were bred by the breeder who I'm reading the notes from. This is some extra footage that I've found. So until the female is full of eggs, and then the males will have the breeding stars on them. Then the fish are kept apart, and that helps them to build up this kind of frustration, as you could call it. This particular breeder does keep the fish apart, but in tanks where they can see each other through the glass, and they tend to then look for the male showing some more friskiness, and that shows them that they're ready to breed, really. On the evening the fish are put together, they kind of do it around, the chasing normally starts around dusk, becomes very intense throughout the night, and in the morning around dawn the fish will splash and nudge against each other, and they will start to release the eggs, and then the eggs fertilize. So if that isn't the case, then they will hand spawn, which is something that you may have seen I did in my last video with my calico Joaquin. Temperature in this tank is then increased, and then in about 4 days the fry hatch. They don't need feeding because they've got their egg sac on to start with, but then they feed brine shrimp for about 4 weeks. So it's kind of the same protocol as any other fish, really. It's just that culling for the particular varieties that makes it different. Now, when I went to the latest AMGK show, I did see these lovely calico examples, which is really rare, and the guy doing the auction said he hadn't seen any calico celestials for about 40 years, so that was amazing to see. I also wanted to show you these, which from Blackwater Creek, which is a slightly different take on the celestial. And Blackwater Creek were kind enough to share this footage with me, say that I could use it. They have some really nice goldfish, so if you haven't had a look at their fish before, then yeah, definitely worth having a look. This has been produced by some selective breeding, obviously like all of the fish, but these are kind of like telescope and celestials in some way, and what they're calling them is headlight goldfish. So I think I saw someone else in the past call these minion goldfish, but these are the ones from Blackwater Creek, and you can see instead of the eyes looking upwards, they tend to kind of face forwards like headlights, which gives them that name. So this is Blackwater Creek's sort of version of celestial goldfish. So here we've got a couple of pictures and some sort of shots from the front, just to really see those eyes. These particular ones, this particular fish, it does look like it's more to the side, but the idea I think behind them is that they're going to be facing forwards, these eyes. You can see that from above, actually, that particular fish. So instead of looking up like a celestial goldfish, these ones look forward. So you can see that with selective breeding, really these traits can be changed quite dramatically in these fish through a process of selecting and culling. So I thought that was worth showing. At the recent AMGK show I went to, I did see a really good example of first place, second, third and fourth place celestial goldfish. So I thought it was worth highlighting those. So you can have a look at the video, look it back, pause it if you want, see what makes a really good high class example. So once again, massive thank you to everyone who did share footage with me for this video. It wouldn't have been possible without that help. And if this is the kind of thing you want to see, again, more videos showing different profiles, examples of fish, you know, a bit of history, then please feel free to subscribe. This fish, I just wanted to say, absolutely beautiful fish here, because, you know, it is very rare to see these fish, celestial eyes in a calico colour. So anyway, if you fancy seeing more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.